Right, so we're coming up to the house plot, which Dan has fenced off, an area about an acre, and this is where the farm name came from, because this ruin was actually called Lochaber House many years ago, and it's still on quite a few maps as Lochaber House, hence why the farm is Lochaber Farm. Unfortunately, the remaining walls of the house are in such bad condition they've all had to be pulled down, but all of the stone has been kept and piled up, as you can see. And yeah, so this little plot here is going to be a lovely house for Dan and Kat and their family at some point. And it'll have an amazing view because it's going to look out onto the two nice big grass fields and down onto the scrubby bit of land where the cattle are, which is going to be replanted with a bunch of trees and stuff like that to make it a lovely little area, which kind of screens the house slightly from the front side of the farm. A large part of what we're going to be doing is running courses and having people come visit the farm, come visit the bakery, which they already do, yeah, it's great having people come and visit. It's fantastic, but there is an element of privacy needed once they move onto the farm, so we're looking at planting that middle section up and just providing a little bit of a privacy barrier. Come on then, you two. So we are going to go down to the far corner because I really hate climbing barbed wire fences. I try not to do it out of principle, and this far corner has a bit of railing that I can climb over. You can see the gorse there. Some of it got cut back a few years ago, because gorse is lovely. It's great shelter for the animals, promotes great biodiversity. The flowers are amazing to eat. They've got a really nice coconut flavour. I've made beers out of them. I know a chocolate maker that makes chocolate from gorse. Really amazing plants, but very, very invasive. So these ones here just got cut back to, still left the little baby gorse plants, but just cut back the big horrible patches, because the little plants will grow back, and in a few years you'll probably never know that they were cut. Come on, Tia. So this is the drainage ditch that runs down the eastern side of the farm. It's not massive, but you can see there's a decent amount of water coming down it. The dogs certainly love it. And that feeds into the stream where I've previously talked about putting in hydro. Right, I actually have to go down into the stream because there is no bridge. Ha! Come on, Tia. Right, so after crossing the stream, we are up at this end of the scrubby ground. Typically, because their food and everything's down there, the cattle don't come up here as much. They tend to just browse it during the day. And you can see here some piles of fencing materials and some drain pipe, where there's an ongoing project, which I'm sure I will talk about in another video. More massive piles of stones, assuming that someone at some point took these stones out of that wall and put those gates in there. So yeah, it would be cool to do a video on rebuilding that wall, I reckon. Be really cool to maybe get some people up here to help and spend a week in some nice weather rebuilding that wall. So yeah, there's the coos, and this is another quite wet patch of the farm. It's one of the lowest areas, so kind of all the stuff up there drains into it, this bit drains into it, so yeah, this is a little bit of wetland, which again, I don't think we have any issue with being wetland, so we will probably just leave it as it is. This is the 1 acre plot that's being developed by a lovely German lady called Katrin, and she's going to plant this up as a forest garden. And I've done another video on it which I'll put up soon. May have to refilm it as it was mega windy. And you can see the bakery. So the sourdough, organic sourdough bakery is the end of the barn there. So right, get through this these sheep hurdles and we'll start the other side. Cool, so just walking through the new forest garden. You can see there's some planting been done already, but most of the planting will be done this spring. And again, I'll talk about it in another video because forest gardens are a whole thing by themselves. You can see there a big sycamore tree and the field with the bales in it. I'm going to do a whole video about that field on its own as well, because we've got some really exciting plans for that field, and I could probably talk for an hour or more just about that. And here is the little garden that will be included in the forest garden video. It's all part of the same thing. We've got some fruit trees or fruit bushes already planted and seem to be doing quite well. The main beds are tucked up for winter, but we did get a small crop of potatoes out of them, which was pretty impressive. Planted at the end of the summer and harvested in November. There's the bakery, the best part of the farm because it makes food. Again, these beds here have been planted up with herbs and flowers, all part of the plan for this garden and the bakery. You can see some lupins coming through, and there's a bunch of tulips in there. Rusty being king of the pile. So that pile of chippings is for improving the yard, as we're expecting quite a lot of visitors this year. Going to try and make this yard a bit nicer, get it a bit smoother, a bit less puddly. And everyone's cars and the workshop. Again, I'll do a separate video on the workshop because that's quite a lot to talk about in there. And here's the coos. There's the tractor, and go around the corner. Big pile of fencing materials, still more fencing to do. And here we come to the third and my favourite piece of woodland on the farm. As I said in the earlier part of the video, I'm going to do an entire video about each section of woodland. You can see this one is vastly different to the other two. This is mostly larch, almost entirely larch, and it's much older than the other bits of woodland. They reckon this is kind of 80-90 years old, and there's lots of wonky trees and all sorts of stuff going on in there, so that will need a whole video. And right in front of you, that little hut is the compost toilet. It's the coziest, poshest compost toilet I've ever seen, and again, I will talk about that in another video. But yeah, very nice view of beautiful woodland as you use the toilet. And little bit of a boneyard where we keep all the trailers and the implements and the roller. There's someone's boat and the cattle trailer. And this brings us all the way back to the front field where the sheep first were, and you can see right in front of you is the gate where I started this video. And that concludes the farm tour. There's the big 20-acre field. So yeah, I hope you've all enjoyed this video. It's been a nice bit of exercise for me, and it's kept the dogs happy. So yeah, that is Lochaber farm. That is all 80 acres. Very brief tour. and each individual element of the farm I'm going to do more videos on. Yeah, we do have specific plans for each area of the farm, each different field, each different wood block, and the yard and buildings. So yeah, I'll do individual videos for those soon. If you've enjoyed the video, please press the like button, please hit the subscribe, and share it with your friends. Share it on Facebook, share it on Instagram, any other social media you use. It would be amazing, Twitter, things like that. It'd be amazing to see more and more people jump on and leave comments. Really important for me personally that you guys interact with the videos. Let me know what you think. If we're planning anything stupid, tell us. If you think it's great, tell us even more. So I better go, I've got to get a bale.